Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you, and I am showing you another card that I've made in my 52 Friday Favorites album, which isn't really an album. Everything you can see here is available in the store, in the paper issue store. You can get 20% off with the code Orange Girl. That area of the photo I'm thinking I might cover up at this point, but I'm not really sure yet. That's why I was pointing to it. So in the Silhouette Studio software, I went ahead and I put in the free cut file that you can get in the paper issue store. All of that information is linked below. And I used a piece of pattern paper. Well, actually, first I put it in the um, software, and I copied it and um, welded it together so that it would become a foldable. But I'm saying that because I'm using the very first group of cards. There are cards now that are free, and I will link those below, that already have the welding and all that kind of stuff done for you. Okay. So I did that, and I did it strategically because I really wanted the words best friends to show on the cover. Okay. So in doing so, I wanted to change the tab. I'm just making sure it fits in my MemoryDex because my 52 faves is going on my MemoryDex. Everything is working with that. So I wanted best friends to show up because the photo that I'm using is a photograph of my daughter and her cousin, who is one of her very best friends, on his birthday. And they're in a restaurant together, and the two of them are sitting together, and it's just a really cute picture. Definitely one of my favorites from the week. And it was his birthday, and so they were celebrating his birthday. And so I decided I wanted to play off that best friends. This paper that I'm using, the card actually was cut out of a 12 by 12 paper that is in the Dear Lizzy, She's Magic collection. So far I've done everything in this collection for the most part. Most of my stuff is coming from that. I changed my mind on this, and so I wanted to stitch it. So I have that little eraser looking thingy is supposed to pull adhesive off, and it works beautifully. And so I wanted to pull the adhesive off because I wanted to put it through my sewing machine. So I did that. Anyway, so the picture is these two little friends sitting together in a restaurant. And so I wanted to make the cover of this have kind of like my title. And so it's going to say best friends and cousins are everything. So I just kind of doodled around the outside of best friends and everything so that it would stick out. And I'm adding this bit of pattern paper that is actually from the 6x6 She's Magic pad. And it was a scrap from one of the other things that I'd already cut. And then I'm going to add these letters that I think are Pink Fresh Studio, I think. And I've used these a lot, and I still have a ton left, and I just love them. They're so colorful. So that's me counting on my fingers to try to find the middle of the word cousins. But anyway, so if you've been following this series, and so far there has been a video a day, and it won't stay that way. I'm just kind of trying to catch up with all of the weeks. This is week 2, so this is the 3rd video because I did one for my title page. And so I won't have one every day or anything like that, and maybe not even once a week, but probably about once a week. I will have a video for you showing the next card. But if you've been watching the series, you'll know that I've kind of struggled with the whole idea of working on something small like this. There's not a lot of real estate, and so there's not a lot of space for you to be able to add a photo and any kind of journaling or things and embellishments, I don't feel like. So I've solved that problem a little bit in little different ways. Today's way that I solved that problem for myself is I made this something that folds out. So on the front is going to just be kind of like my title, and then I made a little I used some of that same paper, and I made like little tabs so that you'll know to pull it open. And on the tab, I put a sticker from the collection, and it just says magic. The other thing that I did is I went ahead and I just used the card as a template, and I added a little bit of blue paper up at the top where I'm putting week 1 right now. I put different color there on the tab. I just liked the way that looked, so I just went ahead and did that. So now I'm looking through and trying to decide what I'm going to do to embellish this, and I liked the kind of orangish salmon color that I put on the front. They're in the same pattern there in color. There is a frame that came in with this collection, and I kind of thought I liked the idea of using a frame behind my photo. My photo won't fit in it, but I'm going to put it on top. So I'm trying to find something to put behind like that. I don't end up using this pattern paper, but at the time I was just trying to find something that didn't really matter, like what it's going to mostly get covered up. So I was sort of looking for what color I wanted back there, and I thought maybe using the same pattern paper as I have on the front might help, because it might actually bring out, like tie it together, but I end up not using that. So you'll see how I change that in a moment. So I'm going through the ephemera pack here, and I kind of sped up a little bit there. And I'm just looking for things that might kind of match. I wanted to do a little bit of journaling, and I found this journal card that says checklist on it. I think it says checklist real life, and I liked that, so I thought I would maybe use that. And now I'm just kind of looking to see, this part really came together really quickly, except for that one little problem, which was what was I going to put behind that frame. So I'm kind of changing some stuff out, and really right now as I'm going through, I'm just looking for color. I don't really care what's on the pattern paper. Like, this has birds on it. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. However, I liked the colors on it. So it had that same, or it has like a pink, a darker pink. It has some of the salmon kind of color on it, and it's mostly green, which I liked. And so I'm going to put that behind that. So I went ahead and used my typewriter, and I typed some sort of journaling, more like a checklist. It says cousin time, chocolate cake, Shrubs Street Eatery, Fayette, Iowa, and it says happy birthday on it. So I cut that off to make it a little bit shorter. And now I'm already ready to glue. So this came together pretty quickly once I decided once I cut the file and determined that I could make something that would fold like that. So I'm adding a couple of tags on there, mostly for color. There's a blue one and a green one. And then I'm going to add a little bit of thread behind that, and some thread behind the flower on the other side. So I'm using 2 different flowers, but they kind of tie the whole thing together there. And yeah, so I really like how this one turned out, because it has a lot of similar colors on both sides. I feel like it looks like it matches well with the cover. I like the idea of folding it out. If you are a follower of my channel, you'll know that pretty much all the time when my daughter is in a photo on a layout or project that I'm doing, I'm going to put at least 1 butterfly. So I'm using my butterfly punch that I just keep right on my desk to punch out some butterflies for this, and I think I end up using 3 butterflies. But I'm going to pop up that photo with a little bit of foam adhesive that I just get that's real cheap from Michael's. It has foam on it's foam, and it has adhesive on one side, and I use that behind a lot of my photos if I want to pop them up. So adding a little thread and adding a butterfly, and I end up, I think, doing another butterfly. So I really liked the idea of some height on the photo, and I wanted to kind of cover up the left side. Well, I didn't want to necessarily, but I thought I might cover up a little bit of that left side of the photo, because there really isn't anything in it. It's really white. And so I just went ahead and covered it up with 3 stickers. One says best friends, one says happy, and one says smile. And then I add a yellow, a blue, and a salmon colored butterfly on it and call it done. So that's pretty much it. So thanks a lot for stopping by. I do end up changing this to white. I thought it just looked better, so I changed from the blue to the white. But I like the way this looked. I had to come back and glue a couple things down that were kind of loose, but other than that, that is pretty much how I ended up. Thanks a lot for stopping by and following along in this series. There's the cover, and then you'll get to see some close-ups of the inside as well. I really have enjoyed this project a lot. I've enjoyed working with the Dear Lizzy products and the cut files from the paper issue store. So thanks a lot for hanging out with me, and I will see you again soon.